What's going on, everybody? Tanner Lee here, the Tan and J-Man Show Sports Podcast, and I am thrilled today to have a friend of the podcast joining me this afternoon to just shoot the breeze, talk creating content, maybe talk a little sports here and there. Dane Curtis. Dane, what's going on? Thanks for joining me.
Hey, I appreciate the invite, man. Much appreciated. And yeah, happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, so we were talking a little bit before we hit the record button here on just creating content. And I've seen that you just have created more and more content this past year, spilling it out, whether it's on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, even though I got to be honest, I'm not a TikToker myself, but but I'm familiar with it, so I know the content's out there. I guess what inspired you to start creating content, and how did you decide on what kind of content you were going to create? Because it's not like you're only pumping out content on one subject. You have quite a few subjects out there.
That's right. That's right. And depending on who you're talking to, that can be quite controversial for gaining a following, right? But yeah, I guess I started recently this year. I would consider this year my first kind of full year really
Mhm.
creating content. And back in high school, I was in what I would, show choir, if people know what that is, singing
Yep.
and dancing all in one. So I've always kind of been putting myself out there and been a little bit of a loudmouth, which, I get from the family. So I have no lack in showmanship there. So I just thought, why not just put myself out there? I at least think I'm a little funny at times.
Mhm.
So try and put it into some topics that I just passionately enjoy. So my main topic being lawn care. That's something that I would say over the last 3 years have recently found that I really enjoyed. So I would consider that being my main thing. I also talk about fitness, a little bit of wellness, cooking a little bit, things like that. And the reason I like being able to change is because seasons change. And
True.
with
True.
lawn care, right now in December, lawn care it's almost non-existent, right? So being able to put content out off season, we'll just put in air quotes, is important.
Oh yeah, very important. And what I like about it is, from my point of view, is I don't think you get tired of building your content that way. You're talking about
Right.
not just one thing you're passionate about, multiple things you're passionate about.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I will tell you, straight up, I'm not going to be posting about something that I don't like or am not passionate about. So if
Fair
I'm
enough.
putting something up there, it's something that I truly do, to your point, enjoy putting together. Right.
Yeah. Well, it's one of these things. I mean, you like myself. I mean, we enjoy creating content. I enjoy podcasting. I don't make a lot of money off of it. It's more of a hobby. So if I'm not enjoying what I'm talking about, I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to, because while it is a fun process, it can be it's challenging at times, and it can be tiresome at times. It's like, really don't want to record a podcast tonight, but I know when it comes to creating content, whether it's a podcast or video, whatever, consistency is key, and
Yeah.
you got to fight through it and keep pushing through.
Yeah, the algorithm doesn't care what you got going on,
No,
right?
it does not.
So
No, no,
that
it
is
does not.
exactly right. Yeah, and I'm right there with you too. I mean, I would say even within the past couple months, just started trying to figure out, okay, is there a way I can make a little side
Hmm.
income on this?
Hmm.
And I'm open and honest with a lot of things. I just made a solid 46 cents over the
Yes,
Thanksgiving
yes.
with my links that I posted over
Yep,
Thanksgiving. So,
yep.
if that has anything to it, that just shows that it's for fun, right?
Oh yeah,
So,
it is tough. People chuckle when they ask me, how long have you been podcasting? Well, I said I do 3 podcasts. My oldest one's 7 years old, just turned 7 years old last week. They're like, "Oh, you must make a decent amount of money." I just start laughing. I'm like, "No, no." I'm like, "I don't
exactly.
think you understand how hard it is to make money, solely on being a content creator." And hey, kudos to those who do it, because it is not easy. But if you can make anything on the side of just having a hobby, hey, it's great. That's great. So,
Exactly, exactly. And we're both in the same situation. We have our day jobs as
yep.
well, and that helps to at least support so we can do what we like to do, right?
Exactly, exactly. So, well, yeah, and I'm glad. So I'm glad you brought it up earlier. But so you do content on lawn care,
Mhm.
on healthy eating, food, healthy eating,
Yeah.
fitness. What else? I know I'm forgetting some. I know you've done some others.
I've really kind of, I'm going to say pigeonholed, but just of a lack of a different word, pigeonholed myself into the meme game as well
Yeah,
too. So you mentioned TikTok, and TikTok is just a different platform
it
that I
is.
have, it's honestly my worst platform so far, and I clearly have not mastered it, but it's what I think memes would be on
Hmm.
normally. And
Hmm.
when I make my best memes, I'm like, oh man, this one's going to get a lot of views, and I get stuck at that 200, 250 views, and I'm like, okay,
Yep.
come on
Yep.
now.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I have been lucky enough on Instagram. I've got one, these are both memes, not even just videos that I've put together, but one has 1.8 million views, and one just recently got up to 1.5 million views. So,
Kudos to you. That's awesome. That
I
is
love
awesome.
it. Seeing those numbers just fly up like that, it keeps you
Oh
really
yeah.
wanting to dig into it, right?
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah. When you hit, even if it's a small, even if it's 100 views, whatever it is in your head, you hit that first milestone.
yeah,
It's like a birthday. I mean, it's like, oh, all my hard work's paying off. And then you just keep setting goals and milestones for yourself to knock them off slowly but surely, whether it's subscriber count, view count, clicks, whatever it may be, listen count, whatever it may be. And
yeah.
it's a challenge that's never going to go away, but it's a fun challenge.
That's 100% right, and I try to not have my phone in my face all night looking
Yep.
at the numbers, right? But sometimes it happens.
And it
So
does. It does. And have you seen a kind of, I don't want to say following, but or fan base, but have you seen a consistent amount of the same followers
yeah,
engaging in your
yeah.
posts?
Specifically, and that's kind of why I say my main content is lawn care, because that's where a lot of my following comes from,
Hmm.
especially right now. Like I said, we'll see as the lawn season trickles down here. But I'm finally getting into the lawn game where I'm engaging with other lawn care, even professionals, but lawn
Yeah,
care
I saw that.
enthusiasts.
Yeah.
And even right now, I'm preparing for next year. So I've even got some products on the way where I'll finally be able to kind of dip my toe into the testing out products
Cool.
type of space, which is, something new for me. So I guess I consider that a next achievement for me, because companies are willing to at least say, hey,
Yeah.
do you mind testing this out and making a video on it? Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that sounds great. Glad
Yeah.
to do
Yeah,
it.
that's a good first step, I would say. You're on the right track. And
That's right.
and lawn care in general, is that something you've always been passionate about, or is that something that's kind of sprung its passion on you the last few years?
I would say probably the last 3, maybe 4 years. I
Okay.
mean, we all grew up mowing the grass for our parents at some point in time, but Brittany and I bought our first house in 2014, and for the first 4 years or so, 5 years, I just let the lawn go, and then eventually I got sick and tired of it.
Yeah.
So I started doing my research and my due diligence, and then I just kind of became a little bit obsessed with it, to be honest with you. And then said, okay, let's just start posting what we know, and see if people want to catch on. So
Well, I would say you know quite a bit more than a lot of people. I know and we're gonna have to do it again this spring, but we took some shrubs and some bushes and some other things out in our landscaping this year. Then of course had to plant new grass seed, right? Well, the company that did it for us did it. When was this? Oh, it was in the summer. So
prime time.
and I'm trying to keep up with watering it, trying and trying and trying. Some spots did great, others I can go out there right now. never grew in very well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
springtime, when we're getting more rain, that's when I'm going to be reseeding the grass a little bit more again and hoping that comes in. But it was funny during that time. I'm going through your channel to see if I can find any through your Instagram to see if I can find any tips or tricks to help me out. But it was just bad timing, really, more than anything else.
Well, to you and others out there that are listening too, that's a perfect example of if I don't have something out there, tell me because I'll make
Yeah,
something on it, right?
yeah, yeah.
So,
It was yeah, it was a frustrating month or two, but the shrubs and bushes had to come out for what we were doing anyways.
sure.
So
Yeah.
so
I'll be
it
doing the
is.
same thing. I mentioned some products, so I'll be taking out a lot of rock come the springtime, which will mean a lot of seed being planted. And spring is the second best time for planting, so we'll see
Yep.
how it goes.
I liked your video on your toys that you did not too long ago, and you had and correct me if I'm mistaken, but you had your electric powered toys and your
Yeah,
gas powered toys.
right.
I'm the same way. I have two mowers. I have an electric powered and a gas powered mower. I like my electric powered mower. It came with the house that I currently live in, but the problem is I don't think it was in the best shape when I inherited. That's why I had to get a gas powered one this past season to get me through. Because at first I thought it was just a battery issue with the electric
Sure.
powered one. Because I mean, it would run and then it would die within like 20 minutes, and I'm recharging it, and then it just took forever to get the lawn done. I'm like, okay, I'm getting a new battery.
Yeah.
New battery worked good for a couple months. Then all of a sudden I'm having the same problem. So going into this past year, I'm like, all right, we're good. We're going gas powered, even though I would really like to stick with the EV. We're going gas powered, and
Yep.
um,
I get it.
we
I
got
get
through
it.
it this year. But what's your take on it? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you see pros and cons on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, I do have both, so I get the pleasure of seeing both sides in real time, which is fantastic. And again, very similar to you, when we moved into this house, which we just surpassed the 1 year mark in our new home. Um, it also came with a battery powered mower. So the person that was here before was moving to somewhere where they didn't need it anymore and said, "Here you go." And I said,
All right.
"Fantastic." So, um, I consider my battery powered my quote unquote daily driver because it does what I need it to do.
Mhm.
But I definitely don't think that it's quite there with gas yet.
Yeah.
So, I did see some things which there's something for lawn care, and I can't remember what the name of it is. It's just a big show for lawn care and businesses and things like that. But I did see some things that came out this year where, well, I'll say coming out next year that will bring battery power to the next
The
level.
next level.
So
Yeah.
yeah, if anybody's looking for something battery powered, next year's for sure your year to do that. And yeah, it'll probably be even, if not surpass, in some instances.
I,
But I definitely love my gas powered stuff still. So don't get me wrong on that.
yeah, I might be in the market for a new one though. My gas power one literally was just a cheap mower to get me through this season, to be honest. And
Yeah,
it did fine. It did fine, but
yeah,
it's not what I need something nicer.
yeah, yeah.
I want
Well,
something nicer, I should say. I don't need it. I want something nicer.
yeah, my what I wish I had is a Toro Time Master, and Cody just went out and bought one not too long
Of
ago,
course
and
he
I was
did.
like, man, come on, you're gonna need to bring that over to my house, and I'm gonna need to try that out. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
tell them it's for the content right there. I mean, I'll text them right now. I was texting them earlier today about something, so I'll put in the text for you.
That's right. That's right.
uh,
So yeah, I mean, it's a great topic, and it does drive some drama in the comments
oh,
in
sure,
some of
people
these
are
videos,
passionate
right?
about things. I mean,
Uh,
people are passionate one way or the other. I can see it. I mean, it's just like if you're talking car manufacturers. Everybody's got their
right.
favorite brands, and it brings passion out. Sports talk. Josh and I, we're passionate about our sports teams. We get in heated discussions time to time, and right here on the Tan J Man Show. So it's what is life without passion about
I
stuff,
know,
right?
right? You got to have it, otherwise it would just be mundane. So
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Well, let's switch topics a little bit to another topic that you focus on when you're doing your content. That's eating. because
Yeah.
I am not a healthy eater by any means. And I see when you're preparing your lunches, I'm like, I wish I could eat more like Dane because he's making good looking meals, or he's making, or like the other day you made, what was I watching? You made, it wasn't the Thanksgiving leftover one, even though that one looked good too. It was, remind me, you just released one this past week. I'm blanking on what it
Yeah,
was.
I mean, so my last couple ones have been focused on like the cast iron skillets and just trying to learn a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
So you're probably thinking of I did a steak video in the cast iron skillet for
Okay.
lunch one day, which normally my content for that is focused on quick and easy and, a better choice than a fast food line,
Yes.
in most instances. This time I just wanted something that like I could learn something from and
Hmm.
still tasted good and looked good. So you're probably thinking of that one, which, man, that one turned out good. And last night, actually, I just did chicken in the cast iron skillet. Whew, that's going to be done again for sure.
That's good.
So,
I actually think it was the Taco Bowl one, to be honest, though, is the one I
oh,
saw.
even easier
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
Brittany had Taco Tuesday. Yeah. So that was on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Brittany had some Taco Tuesday done, and that was all leftovers.
Yep.
Literally just dumping a little bit in there, a couple minutes,
Yep.
and easy peasy. It was so good.
Because I
So,
know I know you're a big Chipotle guy, and no free ads here, Chipotle. So bring me the money over here. But I know you're a big Chipotle guy, so I saw a Taco Bowl. I'm like, hey, this must be good if he's going this route than the Chipotle route today.
it's literally the same exact thing, just homemade, right?
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, it was phenomenal. What was that? That was chicken, a little bit of beef, some beans,
Yep,
salsa, and a little bit of lettuce, a
yep,
little cheese on top. I mean, easy peasy.
yep, yep.
So,
So what do you foresee your content going forward in 2024 as far as foods related? Do you think you're going to challenge yourself making some new dishes, or what are we going to see?
I would really like to. At least that's where I'm heading in the direction currently, like I just mentioned with the cast iron skillet. So I see a lot of people making some great content, on the grill, in
Oh
the
yeah,
kitchen, whatever. Even to the fact of, like I mentioned, I do like kind of promoting that quick, easy, but still healthy
sure.
style of things. So I have some specific companies, I'll say, that I would really love to partner with long
Hmm.
term at some point, in that space. So if that's another achievement, if that were to
Yep.
come about, fantastic. If not, it's not the end of the world, right?
Yeah. Right.
But I do see actually food being more of it's not a seasonal thing for me,
That's a good
right? I
point. No,
mean,
I don't
it's
think well, it shouldn't be seasonal for
that's right.
anybody,
That's right.
but there might be some people that, I mean, there's our favorite seasonal foods, of course,
100%.
but
Yep. So
yep.
I think I'm 2 years in a row now. I've made a turkey on Thanksgiving, and I mean, what's it called? It's called like fail free Thanksgiving turkey or something like that. Like you can't mess it up, and
Uh-huh.
I'm living proof of that over the last 2 years, right? So, so making videos with things like that, that's for sure gonna continue. And as we're talking about some of this stuff, like I'm talking about changing content, and that's because I really do think that long term, I just love the vlogging world,
Yeah,
and the vlogging
sure.
world means like everything that I live through on a day-to-day basis, including the topics that I'm passionate about. So
Mhm.
I hope my long-term goal is that one day I can vlog and post some videos on YouTube and people will find them entertaining, right?
Yep.
So
I
that
think
that's
you're
my
already
long term.
there. I think you're already there. I think you're already sustaining that. Now it's getting it to the next level for yourself. So I think
I
I think you've
appreciate
already I think you've already established that in 2023. So I think you're off to a good start. 'Cause
I could not have imagined I would be where I'm at currently, at the beginning of last year. So it does make me excited for 2024 for sure.
Well, I think you would agree with this because I get asked about podcasting quite a bit. I get from people because I've helped a good amount of people start a podcast, and
Yeah.
I'm always willing to help people start a podcast. Um, I love when people come to me, how do you start a podcast? But my biggest thing to them is just start,
Yeah.
because the misconception is you have to have fancy microphone, fancy this that. Do those things help? Sure, but you don't have to. At least
Mhm.
when you're starting out, you just need a computer.
Yep.
But you just need a
All
laptop.
I have right now, I mean, this is what I make my videos with, right?
Yes.
I have my stand I
Yep.
have my stand right here
Yep.
that I put my phone on, that I video record everything on,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And I just bought actually some microphones for when I'm out in the lawn and it's windy, you
Some
know.
lapel mics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the cheaper version, obviously, but you know,
There's
if
some good
it's
ones though you can get that aren't too expensive out there. So I'm sure you went down the right track there.
yeah, 100%. I mean, I've done one video with it and it was decent. I got to figure out the right placement
Yep.
and all that so it doesn't blow everybody's
Is
eardrums
it the one
out.
that you posted about the other day?
I just posted a lawn video of my last mow just
Yeah.
days ago,
Yeah.
and there's a couple points in that video where it kind of blows the mic out a little bit, and so
Wow.
need to figure out some of that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, with lapel mics, that is a struggle with the wind. Sometimes there's not a lot you can do about it, but
exactly.
I guess yeah, you know, talking about equipment and everything. But my advice to those people: just start. It's
Yeah.
scary, but just start. I mean,
Yep.
I know my wife would like to start creating
Mhm.
content. I'm always honored. Just start because she
Yeah.
wants to. She's into fashion and
Nice.
clothes, and you know, she follows a lot of the TikTok people that do that stuff. She goes, I think I could do this. I'm like, I think you could too. You just need to do it.
I
But
love it.
she's just scared to jump into it. I'm like, I'm here for support. I'm here to help. If you ever, she won't want to do a podcast. But I'm like, if you ever want to do a podcast, I know how to
Yeah.
get that going. But
I
just,
couldn't agree more.
I
Yeah.
just think people are scared to take that jump because I'm sure if you go back and watch your first video, it's like if I go back and listen to my first podcast 7 years ago, brutal,
yeah.
brutal.
100%. Yeah.
But the more you do, the more repetitions, you get better. I mean, you get better through experience. And it is scary to start off with. But if
Yeah.
you really, I mean, you don't want to look back and regret not trying.
Yeah, and I think, you know, this time last year when I first started thinking about a lot of this stuff, that was exactly the question that I answered. It was like, okay, I've thought about this for essentially years now,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, if I'm ever going to do it, I just need to do it.
Yep.
And that's what I did. And it's been great so far. I can't wait to see it continue. You know, and you mentioned podcasts.
Yeah.
That's something that I've, you know, I don't know what my voice sounds like right now, but
Sounds fine to me.
whenever I hear my own voice, I don't necessarily think, oh, that sounds like a radio voice. But it's something that I've toyed around with because
Sure.
there are some lawn podcasts
Yeah.
out there, um, but there's not a ton of them. So it's
You're
not
right.
really a saturated market at the moment. And, you know, that's something that I don't necessarily need to have a windproof mic for
Yep.
and all of this other stuff, right?
Yep.
It's topics and being a little bit knowledgeable about that topic and sharing your advice on it.
Yep.
So,
Well, I'd say you're off to a good start building a brand. So it might not be too hard to get a podcast going and have that following of your brand follow right over, become listeners.
that
Just
we'll
start.
see. You know, again, I need to pull that ripcord one
Yep.
more time, maybe. But
Yep. 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 So do you foresee yourself in 2024 sticking with kind of the amount of topics you currently cover, or is there some sort of content out there that you haven't dipped your toe into that you're maybe thinking about trying
yeah,
to?
yeah. I mean, as I mentioned, my end goal is kind of more vlogging, which means everything at some
Mhm.
point. So I'm going to obviously focus on what is best for my channels
Right.
and what gets the best interactions. But I'm also a very, I feel like, fashionable person.
Mhm.
So if you know, if clothing were to come into the picture, or I don't know, like
Yep.
I work from home the majority of the time,
Yep.
right? So looking nice up top and, you know,
Yes.
some nice, not pajama pants, but sweats
But
on the bottom, right?
comfy clothes. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if stuff like that were to creep in, I'm definitely going to post about it.
Sure.
And it's because it's, again, something that I like and something that I'm passionate about. And, you know, Brittany and I both like that.
Yeah.
So if it's something we're both passionate about, why not promote it a little bit? So
Well, I know one passion of yours, and I've had the pleasure of playing one golf round with you in the past. I'd like to play some more.
Yeah.
But is I know you're passionate about golf and you like to golf, and I've seen a little golf content once in a while out there on
Yeah.
your channel. Is that something we could see a little more in 2024?
I would again love that so much. The only caveat to that is I need to get out more than 5 or 6 times a
I'm
year
right
to be
there
able to
with
do
you.
that.
I am right there with you. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, busted back to 2 years old. That's when I first started swinging a club, and grew up with mom and dad, the whole golfing family. Allison, my sister, played D1 golf. So I
Well,
mean,
did she really? Where did she play at, if you don't
it
mind me
was
asking?
IPFW, but
Okay.
it's still considered
Yep.
D1,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
she's still to this day. I mean, she doesn't play more than 2 or 3 times a year, but will bust the sticks out and shoot a 72 every time. And I'm
I
like,
I, I hate people like
I
that.
hate
Yep.
you right now.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I love you, but I hate
Yep.
you.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So no, very passionate about that. And talking about, is it nice, is it worth a membership somewhere? Maybe that'll get me out there a little bit more.
Yeah.
So who knows what next year looks like, but I would love to do some of that content as well. It's again another passion.
Well, and it'd be interesting too with your love for lawn care and your
Yeah.
love for golf. Maybe you could do content where you interview a superintendent of a course or something. I don't
Yeah,
know, to pick their brain. That'd be kind of cool.
that's a great idea, and I know of at least one other lawn care guy that does that, but he grows an actual like golf course lawn in his backyard. So like that makes sense for him.
Sure.
But maybe for me, it's just the combination of the two passions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I
I think
love it.
there's something there. Maybe yeah. There's something there. There's something that
I
can be
I
done.
did cross those two topics in a couple memes this year. So maybe it's time to just take that to the next level.
There you go. There you go. I like that. I've always wanted to do some golf content too, but I've never figured. I mean, I've videotaped myself, hitting balls before and stuff, but I haven't
Yeah.
mastered exactly what that looks like. So
Yeah,
maybe,
maybe we just team up a little bit. We got to take this podcast to
yep,
the course
yep. Mic
and
ourselves up, and I
see
hope
what
I'm
the
playing well that day. If not, I'm gonna have the dump button on quite a bit.
That's right. Me too. I'll be right there with you, I'm
Uh,
sure.
uh, but another thing I noticed on your content lately around Black Friday that I really enjoyed, and you might have helped me out on a few things,
Good.
is you like to post a lot of deals when you come across deals. I've
Yeah.
noticed whether um, like the TV you guys have in your house, this
Mhm.
picture frame TV. I didn't even know that was a thing until
Yeah.
you posted it.
Yeah, it's a Samsung Frame TV, and if you've never heard of a Frame TV, it's it's not something that a lot of people actually know about unless you know about
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And Brittany actually told me about it at our old house, and we ended up getting one. And I don't think I'll ever go back from a Frame TV, at least in the living room setting,
Hmm.
because it just looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
It mounts to almost straight to the wall. Like there's maybe a quarter of an inch between the wall and the TV. So it's flush mount. It's perfect. Yeah. And I found a great deal on Amazon with that, under $1,000 for a 55-inch, which if you're looking at TV prices these days, that sounds like a lot, but not for this TV.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, what you'll find if anybody's looking at that content, I'm posting deals on things that I either have or would love to have at some
Hmm.
point. So
Hmm.
I'm not going to just post a deal just to post a deal. Of course, I'd like to make some money off of it, but it's going to be something that I can actually provide a little bit of benefit from, right? And say, I have tried this product, or I actually have this product and it's for sure worth the deal, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and that's why I was really appreciating, because I was like, you can tell that you have these products or you have products of this brand, and you were kind of you were being a spokesperson for them without
right.
really getting paid, but being a
Yeah.
spokesperson person for them, I'm like, okay, if this is good enough for Dang, then this is a good product, and
Hey,
I'm
I
gonna check it
appreciate
out.
that.
So, yeah.
Eventually you got to turn those freebies into money,
I
hopefully,
know it. I know it.
but
That's the name of the game, but um,
yeah.
it's always a journey to get there. Journey to get
Yeah.
there.
Well, and we're coming up on Christmas time too. So,
Yes.
I actually do have, so I use a platform called Bendable where I can link products that I recommend. So I actually have a 2023 men's gift idea board that I'm continuing to update day by day
Love it.
as I come up with more deals.
Love it.
So yeah, if anybody's listening that wants to check that out, check out my profile. It's in my link tree. So
Yeah, Linktree. Love it. See, I think you're the first person I've ever interviewed that actually brings up Linktree. I don't think anybody else
yeah.
I've interviewed even knows what Linktree is. So this is
It's the
we're part
best
of the
thing.
same lingo here. Oh, it is. It is the brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant platform. Um, so another thing, speaking of deals, Gordon, they had a deal going. I don't know if they still do, but I know you have one and you're a user of one, and I want to pick your brain about Peloton.
Yeah. Hmm.
You're a fan, correct?
I love Peloton,
Okay.
yeah, and their products, and I don't own one. That's actually all
Oh,
those
okay.
videos that you see.
Yeah.
I don't own any of that in those videos.
Okay. I was
So
misremembering.
it's two houses down. So
Ooh,
Brittany and I live two houses down from our nieces, our nephews, and we love it. We love being so close to them, and one of the benefits is that they allow me to take care of their or take advantage of their basement gym that they have.
okay.
So
Yeah,
they,
that's a nice looking gym. I thought that
yeah,
was in your house the whole time. So
I wish it was. I wouldn't have to walk in the cold all the way to get there, but
at least it's two houses down. Okay.
yeah, I'll embrace my Andrew Huberman cold walk or cold ice bath or whatever it is, right? Which actually I am about to post a video on
Are you?
some of that stuff, so
Oh, well,
keep
I
an eye
bet.
out for it. But no, I'm a very big fan. So if anybody's ever looking into that, yeah, it can be very pricey, and I'm coming from the perspective of I don't own it and I didn't pay for it,
Yeah,
but I find great benefit from it. They have a bike, a tread, and they do so many different workouts in their app. You don't even need a piece of their equipment to be able to take advantage.
that's nice.
So it's a great platform in my opinion.
That's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice. My wife really wants a Peloton, and I haven't pulled the trigger. I've looked into it, but we haven't pulled the trigger. So
Yeah, I
maybe one of these
know.
days.
To your point, I know plenty of people that'll buy a very similar product that it just isn't Peloton
Yeah,
branded,
yeah,
and everything within the app transfers over. So you honestly could save yourself a little bit of money going that
yeah. That I probably need to look into that a little bit. But
route.
yeah, I know people who have had them and have sold them. I know people who have them and love them and will never sell them. I even know somebody I work with that was gonna sell it. I inquired about it, then they changed their mind and kept it. So
Well, and, talk about things that change with the seasons, right?
yes,
So
yes, absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
so
Um,
a treadmill's a treadmill. It doesn't matter who makes it. So
it's true.
sometimes they end up being
Yep.
clothes hangers, but
I was looking at the bike. That's what I was looking at. We have a not a Peloton treadmill, but we have a treadmill that works just fine. But it's
yeah,
definitely looking at the bike is kind of the ones that's piquing my interest. But
yeah,
haven't pulled the trigger just because
yep.
still a little hefty price tag for me. But yeah,
Cycling is a great activity.
oh,
So,
it is. It is. Do you bike for a hobby at all?
I've dabbled in it. I haven't yet gotten onto the bike,
Right.
to make a funny from that scenario. But it's just something that outside, it just seems daunting to me to path out, a whole routine
Uh,
and just where to go and not being hit by a car and all of
that would
these
be me.
things.
That would be me.
So it's just something that I just haven't really gotten my
Yeah.
head in a good headspace yet. So if it's an indoor machine, I'm all for that,
Sure.
and it's less impactful because
Yep.
I used to run and I apparently went a little too hard too quickly. So my knees are already giving me troubles in my 30s. So
We're
I need
getting
to
older. I'm right there. My knees and my back. It's something with my golf swing, I think, with my
yeah,
back.
yeah. So I'm already at 32 trying to figure out, okay,
Yep.
what's least impactful when it comes to workouts
Yep.
in my knees. So
Yep. Oh, I'm right there with you. I'm glad. See, I'm glad I'm having you on today because I'm talking about a lot of relatable topics.
there you go.
So,
Yeah.
um, but what's been the biggest challenge for you in your first year of being a content creator?
Yeah. I mean, probably just the mental side of just like trying to think through like what will people even like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's trends every single day that you can kind of hop on a bandwagon with, but if it doesn't coincide with either your topics or what you're passionate about, it's hard to create something out of that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think for me, it's just kind of the mental side of things of getting over like, okay, yeah, the numbers are what eventually gets you money, but I'm reminding myself I'm doing this for the fun of it. So if the
Yes.
numbers don't show up, it's okay.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So, of course, it is great to see that 1.8 million every
Oh,
now and then,
I
which is
would
great.
not know. I would not know. I mean, but I can imagine. So
Yeah, so and that's interesting enough just with because that wasn't even it wasn't lawn care related, it wasn't food related, it wasn't exercise related, like that was just a one-off meme that I created, which it I say I put in quotes, it makes fun of Brittany, but I got her permission before I posted it, right?
smart man.
It's about, wives sometimes bringing the car home empty on gas the majority of the time. And then the 1.5 million was the opposite thinking of that, right? So let's just say Brittany brings the car home full, and I'm like, I am so proud of you. That's what so those two
Yep.
got the highest level of view so far. So
She struck lightning in a bottle there.
it's great.
That's all it
I
takes.
have a lot of other things that have just tanked
Uh,
that I want to dabble in still. I
yeah.
have this on TikTok. It's called Dishes with Dane. I do the dishes in the household.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. And if I could get a better setup, maybe I might
Yep.
take off a little bit more,
Yep.
but it's just kind of hard with the water and audio at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Um, and then the two houses down, from the nephews, I have a series just called Two Doors Down, where we visit them so often. It's like, all right, what are we doing tonight with the nephews?
I like it.
And that's an interesting one because it's fun and it's fun to post, but it also gets some people that say, why are you posting your kids on, well, not my kids, but
Right.
somebody's kids.
Yeah.
So
You're always gonna have the naysayers. You're
yeah,
always gonna have the people who comment just to comment. And
yeah,
I've been there. I'm like, I almost want to respond. Why can't you keep that to yourself? Do you
yeah,
really need to put the comment out there? But
yeah.
that's social media and nowadays and the internet nowadays and online.
Everything,
So
right? And that's probably honestly my second biggest challenge is just getting over some of those comments sometimes,
I know
right?
you can't take it personally. And it's
Yeah,
hard. It's hard not to though.
yeah, yeah. But I feel like I'm just again, I remind myself I'm doing it
Yep.
for the fun of it, and if I like what I'm putting out there, that's all that really
Yep.
matters.
Yep.
So
I think one of my biggest struggles is I do 3 podcasts a week. Well, one of them is a seasonal one, but in season it's weekly, so 3 podcasts a week, I'll say. And I've been at this podcast game for 7 years, and I see some other people, and in my opinion, I'm like, I think I'm better than this person, but they're out here making a lot of money,
mm,
and I'm out here making nothing or
yeah,
very little.
yeah,
Um, but then I have to remind myself, I'm not in this to make money. At least
sure,
as of right now. Maybe someday that'd be great, but
yeah,
I'm in this for the love and the passion of it. And I've always told myself, the day I stop enjoying what I'm doing, I'm not going to do it anymore.
yeah,
And I'm
exactly,
not there yet. So that's my biggest conflict is, getting irritated when I feel like I maybe should be profiting a little bit and I'm not.
sure,
And then remembering, hey, when we started this 7 years ago, this was our focus. It was just for fun. It's just for a
yeah,
hobby. It's giving yourself a voice to talk about something you're passionate about.
yeah.
So that's my
And
conflict. So
I totally get that, and especially in your case, you've got um, a lot of great history under the belt when it comes to the podcast topics. So hopefully, this is all just gearing you up for whatever the next biggest thing is, right?
yeah, yeah,
And I truly believe that for you.
yeah. I appreciate that. And another thing, do you ever struggle with consistency, or not so much since you have so many different topics you talk about and
Yeah, I mean that does help having the different
yeah,
topics, but I do struggle with it, and kind of like if we go on vacation, right? Vacation is
sure,
oftentimes a topic where you can make a lot of content from a vacation, but also you just want to enjoy your vacation sometimes,
exactly,
right?
yeah,
And if you have a day off or a Sunday that is kind of like, okay, we don't actually have some plans today. Let's chillax and watch a holiday movie this time
yeah,
of year, right?
yeah,
But then I say, oh, but I haven't posted anything today. So then that's kind of where you get into that mindset of like quality versus quantity and the algorithm. And it's like, oof,
Yeah.
that's a tough one.
Yeah.
But oftentimes I do decide to just kind of take that day for myself and Brittany and Paxton and I, and maybe that gives me a little bit of a ding when it comes to the algorithm, but I'm okay with that.
I
So
want more Paxton content. I'm one.
yeah. Well, you can. I mean, I know this is a podcast, but you can see the bed behind me.
Yep.
This is my work desk,
Uh,
and people join my 9 to 5 calls to see Paxton laying on that bed,
I believe
not
it.
to see me.
I believe
So
it. Well, I got my co-host in here. He's on his bed down here, but I would have to take the webcam off. So, and then
yeah,
I'll probably wake him up, and then yeah, we'll leave him down there.
yeah,
But he might wake up and make himself known. He likes to bark at times during the podcast and
yeah,
videos and stuff. And
yeah.
yeah,
Pax did one in here, but this is the front of the house right here, and I was just too afraid he's gonna bark at another dog. So
oh man, it would have been just fine. It would have been just fine. So, but no,
uh,
I'm one of those for more Paxton content. But
all
I'm
right,
such a
I'm
dog
down.
person, so
I'm down, and he is just the cutest thing in the world anyway.
he is
So
adorable little guy. So. Well,
we
I saw that your wife posted. I think she made a post with his age the other day, and I couldn't believe how old he is.
Yeah, I know, right? He's still every time somebody sees him, they say, how old is he? Thinking he's still a puppy. But yeah, he's 10, going on
Yep.
11, and it coming up in March of 2024. So yeah, he's getting up there, but he's still going strong, which
That's
is
all that
great.
matters. That's all that
Man.
matters. My little guy down here turned 6 this week, and I can't believe it. I've had him since he's 6 weeks old. So
Wow.
it's
Yeah,
just,
that's cool.
yeah, yeah.
That
So
is so neat. It's so nice just being able to share that, with your wife
yep,
and the family and everything
yep.
like that. Love that. We often wish that we would have started, like an Instagram page for Pax when he was a
Yeah,
puppy or
yeah.
something, but it's fine. He's
It's
lived his
amazing
best
how
life.
those have sprung up the past few years of
Yeah,
accounts for pets, and they're so popular. And
I know. I know.
it's like when the actual owners are posting content, it's like, no, we don't want to see you. We want to see your pets. Like
Yeah,
that's who we're subscribing to is your pet, not you.
I know, right? Yeah. And that's actually kind of interesting. Something that I've thought about recently with me and different topics is I post everything on my kind of what I would consider my personal pages
Hmm.
instead of like a mowing page
Right,
or a wellness page,
right,
and I wonder how people think about that sometimes. And it's, again, I always come back to, yeah, but I'm posting this because it's about me and what I like, and hopefully other people like it too,
right,
right?
right.
So it is actually like a
Hmm.
personal vlog, and hopefully people are okay with
Well,
that.
and I will
uh,
let you know with from experience, since I have social media accounts for all three of my podcasts. It's a lot more work doing it
yeah,
that way. I will let you know that,
yeah, that is
but
good to know.
I see both sides of it. I see both sides of it too. So
Of course, yeah, especially if at some point you actually can make a business out of it. The
right,
separation of business
right.
and family is definitely important.
Well,
So
and for my content that kind of differs from you is all three of my podcasts. I talk about different things.
yeah,
So
yeah,
in your content, it's all you. You know,
right.
so you're following people are following you for your content, and you might have this workout video here, this food video here, the lawn video here, and maybe some people only go to watch the lawn videos or
Mhm.
go to, but I'm guessing a majority of your audience probably dips their toe in all of them.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so. And I one thing that I wish, and if you do follow me and you're listening, right? Interaction. I want some interaction. So when I'm on Instagram and I post a story and I'm asking a question, I really do want you to answer it, right? It's like that would be
Instagram is
great.
so unique. I was actually having a conversation with a coworker about this today. In my everyday job, Instagram, it's like you can get a lot of likes, but
Mhm.
trying to get engagement as far as comments, good luck.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know why. It's just that's the one social media platform, and I struggle to get feedback as far as comments. It seems like or
yeah,
engagement that aren't just likes.
yeah,
Um, Whereas
exactly.
Facebook and even YouTube's not bad. YouTube, you can do posts and polls and stuff on your page and on your channel.
Yep.
that's becoming more popular too now. So
Yeah, exactly. And I hope, Instagram is probably my main account, but
yeah,
I would consider YouTube my
mhm,
second, if not really, almost one of my main ones, just because of the vlog style
sure,
content that I like to create, which is often more long form than,
yeah,
a minute or less.
right.
So,
Then the
um,
reels, yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
It's just, I don't know. I really like it. I like the YouTube environment
I
and
do
just
too.
the interaction of it. It's very fun. And they provide you a lot of analytics, which is
They
great.
do, they do.
So you can see what kind of the behind the scenes and really what you can improve on.
And I'm still trying to improve the YouTube game constantly across all my podcasts. But what I'm starting to figure out is so a lot of times all about the title and all about the thumbnail.
Yeah. Which maybe this is I'm talking out loud here. Maybe this is part of my issue, right? But I don't prioritize those two things. So I think of a topic and
Yep,
then I go out and I shoot some clips on it and then I create the thumbnail and think
right.
about the title and everything that I watch that says you should do that in reverse, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but really I'm just doing it for fun. Like I don't want to like
I know. I know. It's aggravating to me at times where I think I've recorded something really good and I post it and it doesn't do as well as something that I've recorded that I don't think is as good, but maybe I have a catchier title or my graphics for that thumbnail, which because I usually design my own and
Mhm.
I'm okay at graphic designing, but that's not my forte everyday
Sure.
job by any means. So sometimes if I have a graphic that pops better than others, but the content's not as good, I'm like, really? But is what it is. It's a game. There's a game to it, but it's
Yeah.
it's it's tough to figure out.
It's the first thing that people see, so it is
Yep.
very important, right?
Yep. Yep. So yep. Well, one last thing before I let you go, since Dan and Jamie Show, we are a sports podcast.
Of
Thought I'd
course.
pick your brain about your sports fandom a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about the teams you like to watch and root for.
Yeah. So not from I don't stray far from our friend group actually. So I am a Purdue fan. I didn't go to Purdue
That's all right.
necessarily. I wish I would have. Every time I go to campus for a Purdue football game or something, I'm kicking myself a little bit of like, this is just way too
And where did you
amazing of
go
a
to school, if
place.
you don't mind me asking for
I
everybody?
went to IPFW, so half
Nothing wrong with
Purdue,
that. Nothing.
but
Now it's full Purdue. Now it's Purdue four way. There's no I in it
that is
anymore.
true now, right? But unfortunately, and again, another thing that I kick myself on, my degree was in graphic design, but it's on the IU side of IPFW.
Well,
So
my wife's degrees in finance, and it's on the IU side of
yeah.
IPFW. But when we get the IU stuff in the mail, Tanner goes rip trash.
I'd rather donate to Purdue. Thank you. No.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're Purdue fans. Brittany and I are both Purdue
Love
fans.
it.
Most of my family are Purdue fans. Actually, I
Love it.
have family in West Lafayette
Awesome.
that have season tickets and things like that. So
Awesome.
love it. Great to see them doing good again this year for basketball and
It
things
had a
like
good
that.
bounce
Right?
back win last night. Of
Yep.
course, Friday's loss at Northwestern was disappointing, but right
Yeah.
after the game, I even said out loud, I was like, I'd hate to be Iowa come
Yeah.
Monday because you just knew Purdue was going to be frustrated, mad at home, and it wasn't going to be good for Iowa. And I'm glad I was right. I'm glad they took care of business pretty easily
Yeah. Exactly.
because
Exactly.
it's basketball season's so fun, but we've been through so much heartbreak as Purdue basketball fans. It's anxiety riddled too, because I'm already thinking March. It's December, dang, and I'm already thinking about March.
I know, right? I always think, and I say pity on myself here, right?
Yep,
But I always think I'm like the trifecta when it comes to that because of all of my favorites. So Purdue sometimes is one of those, right?
yep,
The Cubs. So I'm a Cubs fan, and that can be very roller coaster like many different years.
sure, sure.
And of course, because we live in Indianapolis now, I am definitely a Colts fan, and okay, yeah, maybe they're in playoffs position right now, but man, it still has been a rough season.
Yeah,
So
I,
it's
I, as you can see behind me, I'm a big Denver Broncos fan. See, I'm
yeah.
pointing the wrong direction because I hate the team there. And I'm sorry, I'm rooting against your Colts right now because we need some help to get into playoffs, and Colts just grind away. I don't know how
Yeah.
they do it.
Yeah,
they're not the most talented team, but they're tough.
they're pulling it out when they need to, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
exactly, yeah.
But I understand the heartbreak there. Yeah, the sports teams that you've selected, I get it. There's some
Yeah.
heartbreak there. But
Yeah, and they're all teams that again, grew up loving
yep,
them, so it's not
okay,
like I've bandwagoned or anything like
right.
that, which sometimes I do, but again, it depends on, okay, is it gonna benefit my team in the long run? So
Yeah, oh, 100%. And
so
there's teams out there you got to root against no matter what. We all have those, and we all
yeah.
have players that we enjoy watching, or in golf, we all have golfers we enjoy watching. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And right now for golf, I don't know, I'm kind of liking I've watched a couple live events, and I know
I
that's
do too.
again
No, I like it. I like
it
it. You're
yeah,
speaking.
it's
Yep.
an interesting topic, and just hearing more and more about some of the new rules that are coming out,
Mhm.
and just maybe the merger, a little bit more of a merger between the PGA and Live. It's a very interesting future that golf in general has in store.
I think
So,
there's a way they can all get along eventually and make this thing work, but I think it's
yeah,
going to take some time. There's definitely some rules I'd like the PGA Tour to implement that Live does.
yeah.
Um, but we'll see if that happens. But I'm telling you, there's more rumored big names. If this John Rahm thing's
I
correct, and
just heard about that,
Tony
yeah.
Finau's another rumored one, which Finau would be interesting because a lot of the Live guys I've noticed, and I like some of them. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of the Live guys, it seems like, aren't very liked on the PGA
Mhm.
Tour, so that's why they made the move. But if somebody like Tony Finau did, he'd be kind of the first one that's pretty well liked
Yeah.
amongst tour players to make a move. But
Yeah, yeah, and, he really springs into kind of forward in my mind right now because it wasn't he on the Netflix series
yes, he
as
was.
well? And he's just I mean, if you watch that Netflix series, it's just such a good show,
It was.
and Tony Finau specifically, you just see a little bit of his background and his family, which is phenomenal, and just the genuine guy that he is, so, yeah, that brings a whole different light of person, in my opinion, to live
Yep.
golf, so
Yep. So it's gonna be interesting. I mean, if the numbers are correct, that's rumored around John Rahm. I don't know how the guy would say no. I mean, we're talking like $600 million.
Yeah,
It's
that's insane,
just
right?
stupid money
Yeah,
being thrown around, but it is an exciting time to be a golf fan because there is an alternative out there if the PGA Tour or whatever for whatever reason is not your cup of tea or
right.
where you're tired with some of the guys. There's alternative out there, and of
Yep.
course, did you hear the big rumor around Nike yesterday?
I did not. What is this?
Well, supposedly next week's the last week that we're going to see any professional golfer wear Nike apparel,
No.
including Tiger Woods.
Are you serious?
That's the big rumor. The big rumor is Nike's just getting out of the golf game completely, which we've already seen them get out of balls and clubs
Yep.
a couple years ago, but now supposedly they're going to get out, which I can't
Ah,
wrap my head around. And I'm not I've been on record. I'm not the biggest Tiger Woods fan. I appreciate what he's done for the sport,
yeah,
greatest golfer of all time. I'm just not the biggest Tiger Woods fan,
yeah,
but I can't envision him wearing anything other than Nike.
yeah, yeah, 100%. I agree. I mean, but we have, I mean, it kind of does make sense because what at the Hero recently, he was wearing some FootJoy and some other things.
Yep.
So, I mean, the
Yep.
writing is a little bit on the wall, kind of lining up a little bit if that's
Well,
the
and
case.
he and Rory, the two biggest guys that wear Nike, are tailor-made guys. They're owned by Adidas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They can make their own Tiger Woods line, but it's
Exactly.
just kind of crazy to me because Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, I mean, those guys got like lifetime contracts with Nike.
I
Well,
know,
I guess Tiger
gosh.
won't going forward, but
Yeah. I
yeah,
did not know that, and I
yeah,
didn't hear that. That's kinda shocking.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. At first, one of my friends texted me about it, just about Tiger, and I kind of went battled back, and then the more I read, I'm like, oh wait, no, it's everybody with Nike. Okay, this makes more sense. Because at first I
Wow.
thought it was just Tiger. I'm like, there's no way. I was like, there's no way just Tiger's dropping Nike. They're not going to do that. But then when I
Right.
read it's Nike as a whole, I'm like, okay, maybe I think they're wanting out of the golf game then. So
Wow.
yeah,
Interesting. Well, hopefully, that's in preparation for something else big on their end, but we shall
I would.
see.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's just. I don't know. It's just sports in general. It's just the landscape. When I think things are settled, something big comes up, and
oh, man. I mean, Michael Jordan's documentary is what comes to mind when you think about when you talk about that type of thing, right?
yep.
Just his whole process and with his shoe and the
Mhm.
money and just everything behind that, right?
Oh
It's
yeah.
just it's a different world, right?
Totally
So,
different world, and we're seeing college athletes get paid now, which
yep.
which I get. I mean, I've always thought they should be able to make something off their brand and likeness. Now,
Mhm.
some of the directions it's went, I don't disagree. I don't agree with, but it's kind of the Wild West anymore with college sports, with athletes getting paid and being able to jump in the transfer portal multiple times, go wherever they want.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
crazy,
You know,
crazy
and
stuff.
a door opens up another one. So
Yes,
you
it
just got to
does.
go with the flow. So,
Yes, it does. So, well, Dane, anything else you would like to talk about content creation wise? And if not, why don't you give some plugs out there for your channel and let everybody know where they can find your content?
no, I mean, I really just appreciate the time on here, allowing me to be on here. I know it's mainly a sports podcast, but I'm glad we were able to sneak a little bit in
Yeah,
at the end here. But I'm just, I'm excited for what next year looks like, and we've talked through a lot of great stuff. And if anybody wants to find any of my content, so I'm the same thing on every single platform, Dane_Curtis 91. If you have a platform and you look that up, it's probably me. So, and if you have anything or can't find anything content wise out there that you're looking for, just like your example earlier in the podcast, send me a message and I can guarantee you I'll make a video on it in the near future.
so,
So I just appreciate the time and yeah, really appreciate it.
so what I'm hearing, the floor is open for comments of new creation, content creation ideas. So that's what I'm hearing.
100%. The floor is always open. The DMs are always open for content ideas. Yeah,
Good one there. Good save there. Good save
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Well, Dave, this has been a blast. We're gonna have to do it again sometime in the future. And
Sounds
thanks again
great.
for taking some time and just chatting about content.
Yeah, love it. Again, appreciate it. And yeah, until next time, man.